Chapter 4. Currency Strength. In Chapter 3, we talked about money flowing between markets. And we said that when money flows into a currency, its value rises. And when money flows out, its value falls. But here is the problem with just watching a currency pair. A pair only tells us half the story. Think about it this way. When AUD/USD moves down, is that because the Australian dollar is weakening? Or is it because the US dollar is strengthening? Or both? Looking at AUD/USD alone, we cannot tell. The pair moves, but we do not know which currency is driving it. Here is an analogy that makes this clear. Imagine a sports competition. 8 players, all competing against each other. At the end of each day, there is a league table. Player A is ranked first. Player H is ranked last. Now imagine we only watched one match. Player D versus Player E. Player D wins. But what does that actually tell us? Not much. Maybe Player D is genuinely strong. Or maybe Player E is just having a terrible day. Without seeing the full league table, we cannot tell the difference. Currency trading works exactly the same way. AUD/USD is just one match. AUD versus USD. But there are 8 major currencies in the Forex market. The US dollar, the euro, the British pound, the Japanese yen, the Australian dollar, the New Zealand dollar, the Canadian dollar, the Swiss franc. Every one of them is constantly competing against every other, and every one of them has a strength ranking at any given moment. When we watch AUD/USD alone, we are watching one match and ignoring the rest of the league table. But when we can see the full picture, when we know that AUD is currently ranked near the top and USD is ranked near the bottom, suddenly AUD/USD moving up makes complete sense. The stronger currency is beating the weaker one. And here is why this matters so much on shorter timeframes. On a shorter timeframe, price moves fast. By the time a single pair has given us enough information to act, the move is often already well underway. But when we can see currency strength directly, we can often see the move forming before it shows up clearly on the pair itself. Strong AUD, weak USD. That combination pointing in the same direction is a much earlier and cleaner signal than waiting for AUD/USD alone to confirm. So how do we actually measure currency strength? This is where it gets interesting. A single currency does not trade on its own. It only exists in relation to other currencies. So to measure the strength of AUD, we need to look at how AUD is performing against multiple other currencies simultaneously. Not just against USD, but against the pound, the yen, the euro, all at the same time. Think of it like taking a temperature reading. One thermometer in one room gives us one data point. But if we put thermometers in every room in the house, and they all read hot, we know something is genuinely happening with the temperature. Not just in one room, throughout the whole house. That is currency strength. When AUD is moving strongly against multiple currencies at the same time, that is genuine strength. Not just AUD/USD having a moment, but AUD itself, as a currency, being in demand. And the same applies to USD on the other side. If USD is weakening against the pound, maybe that is just a GBP story. But if USD is weakening against the pound, the euro, the yen, the Australian dollar, all at the same time, that is a USD story. Money is flowing out of the US dollar broadly. And that tells us something very powerful about where USD pairs are likely to go next. Now here is the key insight that ties everything together. When we can measure AUD strength independently and USD strength independently, we have 2 separate signals pointing us toward the same conclusion. Strong AUD, weak USD. Both signals aligned. That alignment is where our confidence as traders comes from. Not from one pair, not from one signal, but from 2 independent measurements confirming each other. In our next chapter, we are going to look at exactly how we build those measurements, how we take a currency like AUD and construct something that shows us its true strength across the whole market, not just against one other currency, but as a force in its own right. See you in the next chapter.